Tonight, we've been requested to come before you and present a little bit about our tax sale. It is in consideration of the next two tax sales, one being that was set to happen this Thursday, and the next being in January. What we'd be looking at is a potential to postpone those tax sales to a date certain in April, which would allow us to still move forward with those, but it would be after the winter months. Mayor, if it's good with you, I'd like to ask staff to come forward and present information so everyone in the public and our commission are well aware of the detailed process that we go through each time before we ever do put a property into tax sale. With that, I will recognize Jenna Hillier, our Delinquent Tax Manager, along with Wendy Green, who will be assisting her in this presentation from our legal department. Jenna?
So how it starts is Treasury sends out a bill twice a year that has your current year's taxes that are owed. You get one in November for the December half amount that's due. And then again, there's another one that arrives in April for the amount that's due in May. So you have two options after you receive this bill, and one of them is to pay the bill, and the other is to not pay it. If you don't pay the bill, this is the first step towards becoming tax delinquent, which could eventually wind you up in a tax sale. And this is the amount of notices and bills that are sent out over the years before a property is tax sale eligible. This is our standard for when we determine whether or not a property is tax sale eligible. So it's 1 year tax delinquent for vacant or abandoned properties, 2 delinquent for vacant lots and commercial buildings, and 3 years delinquent for an occupied structure. And this does not include those that are on a payment plan or in bankruptcy or in a probate case. But if you are not if you're removed, but you're still tax sale delinquent, taxes will continue to accrue with interest and penalties during that time. And this is the list that the abstractors begin researching the financial interests in the property and the ownership. And as you can see, there isn't any identifying information here as to name or address. This is what they get and work off of. They go through out of a list of, this past year's list was about 2,500 properties. So 750 of those get worked up. Not all of those make it to the sale. We're averaging about 250 that actually go to auction. The majority of those are vacant lots. We send out certified mail to everyone that's in the sale, regardless of whether you live in or outside of the county or the state. Everybody gets certified mail delivered to all the addresses and the interested parties associated with that property. They also receive personal service if they live within Wyandotte County, which means they hand deliver these notices to the address. If it's outside of Wyandotte County, but still in the state of Kansas, we send those on to the process servers or sheriff of that county for them to deliver them as well. People outside of Kansas only receive certified mail. So here's the way to get out of the sale. There are several options. One is obviously paying your taxes in full. The second option is to pay half amount for your taxes owed, and we can place you on a payment plan if you have not been on one previously. And if neither of those options work for you, you can request to have to go before the judge and discuss other options. And we do send out a reminder a couple weeks before the docket date. And after the sale, if your property wasn't removed prior to it and it does sell, you have an option to file a motion to set aside the sale of your property. And you have up to a year to do that from the time that the sale confirmation has been sent out, which is usually about a week after the tax sale ends. And if you are in a tax sale, please do call Delinquent Real Estate or reach out to us for your options. We have very helpful staff here who's trying to work with you to make sure that you are able to stay in your home or keep your property. And I will turn this over to Wendy Green, who I believe has some updates on our current sale.
Thank you. What I really want to talk about is the numbers. In tax sale 349, we started with 707 parcels. Out of those 707 parcels, as of 4:30 today, there are only 186 parcels left in the sale for Thursday. And 44 of them are houses, 136 are vacant lots, 2 are exempt properties, which means they're owned by a church, but they had past due taxes before they became exempt, and 4 commercial properties. So out of that 707, only 186 would have actually made the sale on Thursday. Since we flagged these properties to go into the tax sale, we have actually collected $1,057,053.83 in taxes. A lot of that happens because once people find out that their property has been flagged for a tax sale, they come in and pay. So just filing the tax sale petition actually starts to generate taxes for us. I also got numbers for you for the January sale, in case you're wondering how that one is shaping up. That one we didn't start with as many parcels. We only started with 550 parcels. Out of those, as of 4:30 today, there are only 362 left. And just by flagging those properties for sale and filing the petition, we've already brought in $482,332.35 in taxes. And with that, if anybody has any questions, or Mr. Bach, if you'd like to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Green. Ms. Hillier, appreciate the presentation. Sometimes when we said, I think as you said, as a governing body, it's a little bit crossed over between your city or county rules. This is clearly one you do as a county. One of your objectives or one of your things is to collect the taxes within this county and then distribute them to all the other taxing jurisdictions within our county. It is your responsibility to do that. If we do elect to postpone the current tax sales, we would seek the governing body's direction as we go forward, as there are additional things we should be doing in order to assist our residents in paying the taxes that they will owe on their property.
Thank you. I'm going to, at this time, recognize Commissioner Townsend, who has been in conversation with members of the community who have brought this issue forward. So, Commissioner Townsend.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. When an article came out in the Call newspaper in April of this year, it was distressing to me to see that in the article there were allegations made that a certain area of the city was being targeted. And that was as far from the truth as is possible. There's no evidence then or now that's been brought up to show that one area of the city has been targeted over another. What you will see, unfortunately, in certain areas are more challenges for people who live in that area. But indeed, the tax bill is still coming, and that's what the information about the presentation was about in April and today. So we as commissioners still have that obligation to move forward with what the majority of our citizens have told us they want to see in terms of cleaning up the area. However, we are not insensitive to the plight of certain of our population who have felt that they need additional help or time to get current with their taxes, and they need information and assistance in where to go and what to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Townsend. We need to make sure that if there is one more step in the process, maybe it is a different way to engage, but let's take that last step and provide everyone an opportunity to stay in their properties. I think we have to be sensitive to those things, but I think we have to have our staff look at the process to make sure that we can work through it and make sure we have people even one more step if necessary to prevent this from going to tax sale. Recognize Commissioner Ramirez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do support this ordinance and what it does. But the conversation that Commissioner Townsend has been having with these community organizations, that's what we need to do. And I want everyone to be given those opportunities to continue to live here in Wyandotte County. Thank you.
Commissioner Bynum?
Thank you, Mayor. Prior to the delinquent tax notice being sent, if we could develop a one-page fact sheet that has information on it as to how to avoid this consequence for their property, I think that could go a long way. And Mayor, my last comment is the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation currently has KERA, which is Kansas Emergency Rental Assistance, but they are actively working on that same kind of assistance for homeowners, including mortgage and tax assistance. They're working very hard to get that program up and operating, and it would be a resource for any COVID-related financial hardship for our folks. So, and that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I do support what is being proposed by Commissioner Townsend with the caveat that as we look at whatever we're going to attempt to accomplish tonight, that we need to look at this from a long-term perspective, or so that this is just not a one-time situation. The challenges that are brought up tonight are challenges that we will face as a government in the coming tax sales. And so I'd ask that as we look at solutions for tonight, they be considered from the perspective of what we do in future years as well.
Commissioner Philbrook?
Thank you, Mayor Alvey. So on the delinquent real estate stuff, if I noticed on here, it says a half paying of taxes and a payment with the UG is only allowed once. Does that apply to people that have set up payment plans to pay and then fall off of it and don't make some payments? Can they start up another payment plan, or are they precluded from doing that?
This is Wendy Green. That is for people that have never been on a payment plan before. They can pay half and we can automatically put them on the payment plan without asking the judge for approval for that. If
Okay.
they've been on a payment plan before and defaulted, then they have to have the judge's approval to go on a payment plan, even if they've already paid, even if they can pay half of the amount down.
Okay, so let's say I owe, I don't know, $6,000 on back taxes, okay? And my taxes this coming year is $2,500. So I need to make those two half payments for the $2,500 plus the additional payments for my back taxes.
Correct. And the months that your normal taxes, your current taxes will become due. So in December and May, you just make your current tax payments. You do not have to make your monthly payment under the payment plan.
So Commissioner Townsend?
Thank you, Mayor. We're hopeful that in this additional time, these homeowners, renters who are inhabiting places that have been identified as tax sale eligible will work with Ms. Green, Ms. Hillier, and other resources to take some action. Don't do nothing. That's the worst thing that could happen. So with that, I move to accept the resolution to continue these tax sales to April 28th of 2022.
Bynum, second.
Roll call. Johnson,
Aye.
Kane, Markley,
Aye.
Walters,
Aye.
Philbrook,
Aye.
Bynum,
Aye.
Burrows,
Aye.
Townsend,
Aye.
McKiernan,
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
The vote is 9-0. That motion carries.
Thank you. That concludes our special session for the evening. We are adjourned.